Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Friday Quickies, Techniques, and Tips. Look at this beautiful card that I have here. I am so excited to tell you how I made it, because isn't it just gorgeous? I am really excited. Okay, so this is using the new Rose Wonder stamp set and framelit bundle. It is in the Occasions catalog. You can see there's a coordinating stamp set and then a 5-piece framelit set. This biggest framelit is the size of this, which takes up the better part of a card front, which is kind of cool. And then there's some really beautiful sayings that come in with this set. So let me show you how I made this card. So beautiful. Not gonna lie, it's a little putsy, but the results are just amazing, so I think it's worth it. Okay, so to start with, you are going to want to cut a rose in black. So let me show you that. So here is my rose. I cut it with my framelit, and then I'm going to use Stampin' Up's new brush, die brush. So what you do is you leave the framelit on top, and then you roll over it with the brush on this little, this is like a foam pad, and then the pieces will just kind of pop out like so. You can see they are all just sitting here, and then what you have left is just the rose itself. Okay, so this is awesome. Okay, then what I'm going to do with these black ones is throw them away because I don't need them anymore. However, it occurred to me that what's left over, if you had a different color, you could replace in the black one. Okay, so let me show you what I mean by that. So if I cut out another color rose, what I can do is then take those little pieces and insert them inside my black piece. However, that gets to be a little tricky because this is kind of intricate. There's all these different pieces and you have to figure out where each one would fit so that you can line them back up. So to do that, what I have done is I went up to my kitchen and I got a little Glad press and seal. Now, actually, I have to admit, I went out and bought this specifically for this idea. I saw this as an idea, as a way to line up your alphabet die cuts somewhere else online, and I thought that was a really clever idea, but I thought, wait a minute, this could work. Now, I am not one to carry Glad press and seal in my house because, I'll be honest, I'm cheap, and this, for its intended purpose, is a little bit on the spendy side. But for craftiness, it's awesome, and it's probably cheap because you know how we always pay more for crafty things, right? Okay, so here's just a little piece of it. Now, what I did next was I have cut the larger rose, and I'm just doing the larger rose to show you how to do this. So here is the larger rose. You can see one of the pieces is a little kittywampus. So let me pull this off. How's that for a nice term for you? Kittywampus. I bet you don't use that in your everyday conversations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take the press and seal and just kind of stick everything down, and I will literally press it into the press and seal. Okay, and then I'll pull my die off. Now you can also, even if it's kind of stuck in there, you can even set this back on and get your brush out and kind of say help. Okay, but it looks like everything's releasing okay. So there it is. All right, so now my die is done. So here what I am going to do is I'm going to pull off the detail portion, so that outline part. I'm going to peel that off and then leave all the pieces behind. Now here's where you're going to have to kind of make sure they stick down into the press and seal a little bit, because the teeny tiny ones might not want to cooperate and stick. Okay, but once you've done that and you have all those little pieces stuck down, bear with me as I do this. If I had Jeopardy music, I would so play it right here as you wait for me to get these stuck. But can I just say, since we're sitting here chatting, how this die brush is so like the bee's knees, the bomb, most awesome, awesomely awesome, super fabulous. Okay, so there it is. So now you can see that's kind of pretty just like that, isn't it? These are part of the leaf, so we're not worried about those. But there are all the insides. Now I'm going to hold on to this for later because actually we are working with the smaller one. And then I can, of course, use this piece for something as well. Okay, so let's get back to our piece for our card and let me show you what I've done. Now, I've already cut some of these out because, of course, to put this card together, I've done this already. And I used Island Indigo, Bermuda Bay, and Pool Party. And you can see here are the leftovers of my experimentation right here. Okay, now, as any good crafter, I'm making a huge mess and there's hardly any room left in my workspace. So let me clear off a couple of things. We'll set this here. Now, the next step in this is I want to take, this is, you know, where my flower came from. I'm going to take this and use it as a stencil, and I'm going to draw that on a scrap piece of cardstock. And this is just some crumb cake, and I'm just not carefully, but I'm just drawing the line around here, and I'm going to trim it out. And what that does is it gives me an idea of what or it gives me a piece to glue everything down on. Okay, so I'm going to trim that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my piece cut out and you can see this is all designed to line up nicely with my rose, and that way I can adhere it. Now what I'm going to do is take my fast fuse, and I'm actually going to put quite a bit of fast fuse down, covering most of the area on here. I'm leaving some empty spots, but I really want to cover quite a few spots on here. You can see that, so that I can not only adhere my flower on top as well as the pieces. So I would call this the stained glass technique, because really what I'm doing is I'm filling in these little pieces, and it does totally look like a stained glass window when I'm done. Okay, so there it is. So you can see this is just attached to that piece of cardstock. Now I'm going to take the pieces I have left over from my rose, and I'm going to do the reverse order from what my card is. So where I have this color, I'm going to put, actually, I'm going to put Bermuda Bay here and just take those pieces. And since they're sitting here, I can easily see where each piece goes. It's not complicated to try and figure it out. And I'll just place those inside here as I go around. And then, okay, and then I will add some of the Island Indigo. So far I've got Bermuda Bay. Then I'll do Island Indigo. If you had either a tweezers or a little poker to help you place these, that would probably be nice, just because it takes kind of some nimble fingers. And if you don't have fingernails, this is going to be just a teensy bit more complicated. Then finally, after I get this last piece in, I will put the Pool Party ones in the very center. And I think those are on here. Yeah. So this, I think, is just so pretty, so easy to do. And well, it is a little putsy, I'm not going to lie. The results are just so gorgeous. This isn't the kind of thing you're making like 10 of. You're making one, and then maybe you'll do another one in a different color combination. But I think this would be adorable with the butterfly thinlits that we have. And you can definitely experiment with some of these intricate dies that we've got to add these pretty designs. Okay, so there it is. Really beautiful. Now, if I wanted to jazz this up a little, I could take my Wink of Stella, because you know I can really hardly do anything without adding this to stuff, and take my Wink of Stella and just color in those pieces. And in retrospect, that probably would have been really smart to do before I put them in here, because it's a little tricky to keep them off the black, but I think it'll look better if they're not on the black. Don't you? I can hear you all nodding out there. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going around like so until I have all of these petals colored. And I'll come back in a second. Okay, so you can see I have all of the little panels of the stained glass colored with the wink of Stella. So pretty. Okay, now to finish this card up, I did the same thing for the leaves. I cut just the 2 leaves off of the big die. So here is the big die. And you can see I just used the 2 bigger, or no, these 2 leaves, right? No, these 2 leaves. This one and this one. And I filled them in with Pear Pizzazz and Old Olive. And then I just lined this up on some printed paper and mounted the card, but isn't it gorgeous? Now, all the details for this will be on my blog, thecreativitycave.com. You can check out, the link will be in this video description, so you can check that all out. And there will be a complete supply list as well as links to my online store, because I know you are going to have this rose. Now, one more thing about this. So for the best results, I used the precision plate. So let me bring this back in here. The precision plate is stuck to my magnetic platform. Okay, so I ran that in. The precision plate takes place of one of your pieces of plastic. So you put your paper, your die, and then plastic on top. I also used the Stampin' brush, die brush, and these 2 pieces come together in that item. And all of these links will be on my blog so that you can get this and make this gorgeous card at home. I hope to have some more samples up for you probably tomorrow. Now, the other thing is that's being introduced today is my VIP rewards for people who purchase through me. I have a new VIP rewards program that I'm super excited. So please head on over to my blog to check that out. Thanks so much, guys. Have an awesome day.